6 o'clock. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We are being broadcast live on YouTube and also on our cable channel. Told people are watching on YouTube. I hear from people actually. Treasurer Bud, could you call the roll today?
Trustee Boynton?
Yes, here.
Trustee Miller? Here. Trustee Martin? Here. Trustee Frazier? Here. Welcome. Trustee Clerk Wright is excused. Treasurer Bud is here. Supervisor McNamara?
Here.
You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. The first item of the night would be an executive summary of what we're going to be talking about. First of all, we're going to have on our consent agenda our usual payment of our checks for heating and electricity. We also are adjusting the planning commission schedule. So the planning commission will begin meeting at 5:30 instead of its usual 7. New business today will include amendments to our Van Buren Township Community Center, the accounting and the bid procedures for Newman and Smith and for Plant Moran Cressa. And it'll also be a discussion of second reading of a sidewalk ordinance that we're going through. There will be a discussion of the adoption of an individual hourly rate for Fishback Engineering, and discussion on the selection of Pioneer Landscaping to do work for the next 3 years lawn mowing in a lawn mowing contract. Discussion that will then move on to the paving repairs for 4 of our subdivisions and the award to GV Cement. And then we'll move on to do an Applebee's restaurant drive-through, and we'll do a little employee benefits check out, a personal service agreement for one of our people. And finally, we will discuss Haggerty Road and doing a deal with Wayne County. That's it. Can I get a motion for the adoption and the approval of the agenda?
Motion for adoption the agenda. Support.
Thank you. I have a motion. I have support. Hearing no discussion. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next is the adoption of the consent agenda. Who would like to make a motion on that? Trustee Poynton.
You hear me? I move that we accept the consent agenda that attains the following. Board meeting minutes of March 15th, work study meeting minutes of March 15th, prepaid list of March 17th, March 24th, March 31st, the voucher list of April 5th, outstanding checklist, all of 2022, also the approval of adjusting the official planning commission meeting time from 7:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m.
I have a motion for support.
Support.
All right, Tom, but for that one, keep things moving around. It's consent agenda, no discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next item is a public hearing. If anybody from the public wishes to speak on anything, including a lawnmower contract. I'm sorry. Public hearing. I'm sorry. We have done. Next one is correspondence, announcements, and presentations. Okay. I have one, and I'm not even sure what happened to it, but we were surprised today. There it is. A road is closed. Haggerty Road. There's a road closure on southbound traffic for Haggerty Road from Tyler to I-94 due to construction. Yay! Which began yesterday. Surprise. The project is estimated to be completed this summer. So it's kind of exciting that we finally get that section of Haggerty Road done.
Well overdue.
Does anybody else want to make any announcements?
Are they going to pave all of it this time, or just leave it in half?
Well, they did it, yes. Well, they did
The other side.
They did the east side. They're going to do the west side now. Okay, they did a great job on the east side. Got a lot of turnoffs and stuff for pass arounds. Just to be completely happy Ramadan. It's Ramadan right now. So I know because I have a luncheon tomorrow And I'm not supposed to bring food, so. For me. All right, so anybody? Nothing? Okay, we are now on to public comment. If anybody wishes to speak on any issues at this time, you're welcome to. Does anybody wish to speak? No? Okay, we'll move on.
Supervisor, I do have one comment to read that was left in our Zoom link.
Sure.
So we had a comment left from our public participation link from Mr. Stephen Dark on an agenda topic, Haggerty Road project. He says, I am in full support of the township committing to cover the overage cost of this project. It is a relatively small price to pay for a huge improvement in the township. In fact, I'm hoping the township continues to partner with Wayne County for even more special projects such as paving Morton Taylor Road. That's so I want to thank Mr. Dark for leaving a comment in our public participation link. Okay. Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, we're moving on to unfinished business, which we have none. We'll get ready to do since we've got quite a day. New business discussion on to consider approval of Van Buren Township Community Center accounting and bid procedure. Amendment number 1 to the Newman Smith architecture contract and amendment number 1 to the Plant Brand Cressa contract.
Supervisor, I make a motion to consider approval of the Van Buren Township Community Center accounting and bid procedures. Amendment not 1 to the Newman/Smith architecture contract and amendment number 1 to the Plant Brand Cressa contract.
Support. Okay. Martin, I heard Martin first. Next one will be Boykin. Director, no.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. So behind the scenes, our community center project team has been working hard to chug along on all the aspects of our community center. So we have Robert Stempien here from Plant Brand Cressa, who serves as our owner's representative on the project. He'll be discussing 3 items tonight. The first one is our community center governance agreement. That's going to act as like our guiding plan when it comes to financial and accounting purposes of the project. The remaining 2 items are proposed amendments to both Newman Smith and Plant Brand Cressa's contract. So at this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Stempien up to the podium to present.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, trustees, for allowing me to present tonight. I'm here tonight to give you kind of an overview of the project and where we stand. As Elizabeth mentioned, we have in the board packet the governance procedures. And these are items that we incorporate into our projects just to give some guidance to accounting procedures when it comes to these large capital improvement projects. So what I'd like to do is go over those the governance procedures and then talk about the program itself and some of the changes that have occurred since we did our initial assessment, the budget and fee adjustments that we've made to the project over the course of time, the schedule for the project, and the dashboard that is also included in your board packet. As far as governance procedures, as I mentioned, they're basically accounting procedures for this capital improvement project. We've incorporated your bid procedures in the front end of this document, but you'll notice for construction change orders, we've added some language that would address certain approval processes that would be in place for some of these larger change orders that may occur during this project. The reason why we do that is just so that we have a clear understanding of who's responsible for approving certain dollar limits within the approved budget for this project, and how that would be reported to the Board of Trustees as well. Just to give you some background on where we're at today. Back in 2020, we did the assessment report, which included demographics for your community, planning and programming of the spaces for the community center based on user group input and phone survey input. We had community workshops as well to formulate what the program would be for this community center. We visited other nearby community centers, observed what they were doing as far as operating hours, how they, staff those facilities as well, and that information was in the report. And then Newman Smith put together some conceptual plans, elevations, renderings associated with this community center. And then we put together probable costs based on that information. So this is the conceptual site plan and the conceptual floor plan. And that was in the 2020 assessment report. And as far as the size of this particular conceptual plan, we had about a 9,800 square foot addition and about 12,600 square feet of renovation, totaling about 22,500 square feet approximately, with a probable cost of 7.2 million. So that was back in 2020. So what happened since 2020? Well, we've experienced a lot of escalation with construction costs, especially with steel and other products associated with these type of construction projects. You can see how it spiked from 2020 to 2021. This is based on the Associated General Contractors February report. On average, they said it's about 19.6% jump in 1 year. You typically don't see that. You see maybe about a 4% increase in costs. And keep in mind, that's an average. Your particular building's a commercial building, which has steel in it, and it has other, systems that are escalating quite high, especially when it comes to doors and hardware, mechanical units, because of microchips, hard to get. Some of these mechanical units are taking about 52 weeks to get. So everything is kind of upside down right now in the construction industry, and we're seeing substantial cost increases. After we did our planning and programming, we did a schematic design, then we did a design development estimate. Through extensive value engineering from the schematic design to the design development phase, we were able to bring the cost down to a certain level that we felt comfortable moving forward. It was quite an exercise to kind of hone it back down to something that was within our budget expectation. Keep in mind that after we programmed the spaces with the user groups after the assessment, we increased the additional square footage about 11,000 square feet, and also added some additional renovation area, which equated to about 18,000 square feet in total, which was about a 6,000 square foot bump. So in total, the area for the renovation and addition is about 40,000 square feet. Rewald did their estimating based on that design development design with the value engineering, and we've got it down to about 12.3 million. This kind of gives you an idea of the expansion from conceptual design to the middle plan is what we're at today with design development. So the building kind of expanded. We also added quite a robust south plaza, which would be servicing the public in the summer and months of the year that we could have outdoor concerts. That was developed by Russell Design. We also included a fitness patio. You can see that half circle on the far right side of the rendering. So there was a lot of different program needs that we incorporated into this design for this community center. And then, of course, we established a budget to go forward with. And based on the information that we know today, we're looking at a budgeted number of $16 million. And that includes, of course, professional fees and contingencies, which is a little bit higher than normal because of the volatility of the market. Typically, we carry about 10% for contingency. This is at 17%. It's good to be safe than get into a situation when the bids come in on the project, and then you have to do regroup and value engineering further down the path. And that becomes difficult because you usually would give back from the contractors 50 cents on the dollar. So it's better to safeguard yourself with a higher contingency going into the bid period, which would occur in probably about the June timeframe. We'll receive bids, and then we'll come back to the trustees for approval for the budget on, I believe it's the 19th of July. So with that, if you look at the escalation that occurred during 2020 and 2021, and you apply that to the original construction budget for Rewall, it actually almost meets that cost of construction that they came up with for their design development estimate. With that too, we negotiated with Newman Smith to adjust their fee based on the increased program scope. So before, their fee was based on a lower construction dollar amount. We negotiated with them to bring their fee percentage from a 7.8% down to a blended fee of 6.15 on the construction amount, which have probably saved about 190,000 or so. So that reduced the overall fee from the 7.8% down to the 6.15%. And then with our fee, since the duration of the project too is increasing another additional 8 months to the schedule, and the additional work scope that we're managing, we're also asking for an increase to our base contract that we negotiated back in, I believe it was April 2021. You probably can't see this, but I think it's in your board packet, but these are some key milestone dates that I've identified as part of the schedule. This was also confirmed by Rewald to make sure that they aligned with their expectations. So you can see the bottom highlighted date is the 19th, and that's the date that will be in front of the trustees to present the guaranteed maximum price of the GMP, which is when all the bids come in on the project, all of the costs and fees associated with the project are identified, and then we can present that to the board to move forward. And also I want to mention that we've included in your board packet a dashboard, and the dashboard is something that we issue on a quarterly basis. It gives you an update of where we're at with the schedule, things to look forward to in the next 3 months or so. It's kind of a look ahead schedule, and it also includes our budget that we've set for the project and where we're at as far as costs incurred and forecasted costs, and we're maintaining that, that $16 million is our budget. And then the other page will be updates on the project. Since we don't have a shovel in the ground, this is just depicting some of the renderings associated with the project that Newman Smith provided us. So with that, is there any questions?
Trustee Martin?
That GMP price that you mentioned, that's the absolute most of it will cost the township.
That's based on the construction costs. There are other costs associated with the bill that the township would hold contracts for like material testing. Those are outside, but they are identified as part of the overall $16 million budget. But what Rewald will do is go out for bids on bid categories. There's probably 16 different bid categories that they'll bid out. And once they receive bids, they'll bid out the bids from the contractors, and then they'll give a recommendation as to, who they would recommend for mechanical, electrical, plumbing, or whatever. Submit that to us to review, and then I'll submit a recommendation to the Board of Trustees for approval for that dollar amount. So once we set that, that's what Rewall will manage, and they're at their construction manager at risk, which means they have to come in at that dollar amount. If we manage this appropriately, there may be dollars coming back. For instance, if there's unused general conditions, that we'll make sure that, let's say they had $10,000 in for winter conditions. They don't use it all, they use $5,000. That $5,000 comes back to the township. So it's our job to kind of watch over everything to make sure that, the money is spent the way it should be spent, and anything that isn't spent comes back to the township.
Sure.
So will there be a construction deadline, an absolute date where it needs to be finished, and then it isn't finished by that date? What happens after that?
I believe we have a substantial completion date, which is in November of 2023. We don't have a clause in the Rewall contract for a penalty clause. And the reason why we didn't do that is because of the current climate we have with construction. If we would have put that clause into the documents, we probably wouldn't have received the bidders that we received on this project because they would shy away because there's so much work out there that they don't need a penalty clause for execution of work. So there was a reason behind why we didn't do that.
Right, I wasn't excited when I saw this, but I thank you for reducing your fee going forward. It's more money to us, but it's less percentage. I'm for this. Does anybody else have any comments? I have support for trustee Martin. Hearing no further comments. All in favor? Motion passes. Let's keep moving. Thank you very much, sir. All right, this next item, can I get a motion on number 2? This is the second reading of an ordinance for sidewalks. And could you read the ordinance? Trustee Miller?
To consider approval of the second reading of ordinance 03-15-22.1, the amendment of chapter 74, streets, sidewalks, and other public places, article 2, sidewalks to amend section 74-26.
Support.
All right. This is second reading. There has been some minor changes.
Good evening, board. Thank you. As the supervisor said, this is the second reading of the sidewalk ordinance that allows us to implement the sidewalk program in the township and move to different portions of the township and basically manage sidewalk repairs. It gives a little bit more clarity to the township's authority in that regard. One item that came up at the first board meeting was whether the repayment period could be less than 5 years. And there's a kind of long answer, but the reason that it says 5 years in the ordinance is because that's based on what is in the state act regarding townships' abilities to repair sidewalks. So we clarified that it can be up to 5 years, so the township could have additional authority to make rules that constrain that period, but there's the state law allows up to 5 years. And then we have some more local ability to do rulemaking that shortens that period down. So the final version of this ordinance will include a simple phrase that says up to before a 5-year repayment period.
Any questions? Okay, this is the second reading of the sidewalk ordinance, and everybody knows we've got liability now on sidewalks. We've got subdivisions that haven't done their sidewalks in 30 years. So this is a way for us to go help them do them. Some of them we're going to be helping with engineering and stuff like that, and getting them a way to pay it back over a period of time. But they're going to be done. So, hearing no.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said it could, by law, it can be up to 5 years. We had discussed this because we thought 5 years was a long time to have our township money tied up, and we had suggested 3. When will that decision be made then?
We have the ability to adopt a specific policy for how we implement the program, and we can do that shorter time period at that time. The state law just allows up to 5 years.
Right, I understand. I just want to know when that would happen.
Okay, so I would have said this after the vote, but I'll tell you right now, we're voting for the sidewalk ordinance right now. After the sidewalk ordinance goes through, Fishbeck will be heading out to mark sidewalks. They will mark the sidewalks. We will then have an open house with everybody in Haggerty Sub, and they will know who they are because they will have marked sidewalks to discuss the program. The program at that time will come back to the board for their approval, and you can set that time limit at any time you want. Okay, that's the question. Okay, long day, so I'm going to call for a roll call. Clerk, treasurer, could you call the roll?
Sure. Trustee Boynton? Trustee Miller? Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Trustee Frazier? Clerk Wright is excused. Treasurer Bud is a yes. Supervisor?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Next item is a condition, consider approval of the adoption of the 22 individual hourly rate schedule for Fishbeck Thompson. This is, actually, this is our engineer of record for water, sewer, building, planning, goes on. Okay. All right. What's that?
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
I make a motion to approve the adoption of the 2022 individual hourly rate schedule for Fishbeck, Thompson, Carr, and Hubbard Engineering.
Support.
Okay. Thank you. Could you take it away?
Yes, sir. Good evening again, board. The Department of Public Service have received the 2022 hourly rate schedule increase for our as-needed engineering contractor, Fishbeck, Thompson, Carr, and Hubbard. The schedule reflects a 5% increase. That this is the third rate increase from Fishbeck since the township began working with them in 2007. I have here a representative of Fishbeck, Mr. Dave Hubbard, if you guys have any questions as it relates to this increase.
Okay. We all know what's going on. It's just, it's starting to hit our contractors. It hit our employees. It's hitting everybody. We talked about it, the 8% inflation. I'd fight back if I had a little leg to stand on, but I really don't think I do.
No.
Understandable there.
All right, I mean, if I went out to bid, I'm just gonna end up with another contractor, another engineering company that already put the 5% in. So, and we're very happy with Fishbeck. They're extremely good, yeah.
You've done a good job for it.
So hearing no arguments, just for discussions, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The next item is line item number 4, discussion on and to consider approval of the selection of Pioneer Landscaping and Lawn Maintenance.
Supervisor, I'll make this motion, and then I'll give my reasons for that as we get into the discussion. To consider approval of the selection of Pioneer Landscaping and Lawn Maintenance for the 2022 and 2024 lawn mowing maintenance services for $434,400.
Support.
Who supported that?
We support it out there. Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't tell.
I actually thought it was Larry.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Luckett, could you take over?
So this is to approve you guys to consider Pioneer Landscaping for the maintenance of the township's properties for the next 3 years along one services. This contract is for a total of $434,000, and it's about $144,400 per year.
Yes.
The reason I'm going forward and voting yes on this contract tonight is I do realize, you know, we heard from Mr. Brantley. We absolutely heard that. And with everything said, I think there was oversights made rather, on both sides. But at the end of the day, we need a contract in place. And I don't want to postpone this any longer because I know that work's got to start. It's unfortunate this happened the way it did, and I want to encourage Mr. Brantley, if he's still with us, to apply in the future. And he'll any bid that he brings forward, we will consider it. That's all I have to say.
No animosity. Does anybody else want to speak on this? Okay, motion is called for. We have a motion by Miller, Trustee Miller, supported by Treasurer Bud. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Thank you. Going on to number 5, Discussion on and to consider approval of awarding the contract for paving repairs to Walden Woods, Robinson River, Andover Farms, and Charter Club subdivisions, and you do have to recuse if you're in one of those, to G&B Cement and to approve construction engineering services per the recommendation of the Township Engineer.
Good chair.
Yes, sir.
I recuse myself. I live in one of the subdivisions.
Since it almost never happens, do we have to vote on that?
Yep.
Okay, so the first vote is going to be a vote to recuse Kevin Martin from this.
I make a motion that we excuse trustee Martin for voting on this item number 5.
Trustee Martin going to already, yeah. Okay, so we know the issue. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin. No, no, yeah. Yeah, this is just a typo as far as I'm concerned. All right, so trustee Boynton. Please, okay, do you want to make the motion?
I move that we consider for approval the awarding of the contract for paving repairs in the Walden Woods, Robinson River, Andover Farms, and Charter Club subdivisions to GV Cement and to approve construction engineering services per the recommendation of the Township Engineer.
You have support? Fraser? Okay. All right, please take this. I have Dave Newber and Larry, Director Lockett.
Yes, sir. Again, thank you for having me. This is to consider the award of contract for paving repairs for Walden Woods, Robinson River, Andover Farms, Charter Club subdivisions to GV Cement. The total estimate cost, including construction, is $527,000. The township today has been participating in Wayne County Local Road Initiative Program. The county will reimburse up to $375,000 or 80% of the construction cost of the rehabilitation and improvement of certain local township roads, whichever is less. Making certain repairs to the roads in Walden Woods, Robinson River, Andover Farms, Charter Club, as specified in the primary engineering review agreed upon by the homeowners association for Walden Woods, Robinson River, Andover Farms, Charter Club. To date, the homeowners association has agreed to contribute $152,441.40, which is a total of 28.9% of the total construction cost, engineering cost. Wayne County will reimburse the township for the remaining $375,000. So with that said, I have Mr. Dave Newman here, who is our township engineer, to kind of go over the next steps in this process.
Thank you, Mr. Newber.
Good evening, board members. With the approval of the contract tonight, if you do so, we will be meeting with the contractor, establishing a pre-construction meeting, putting together a project schedule, and then we'll be communicating with Director Luckett on what the contractor schedule will be, which subdivisions they'll be starting in, when we think they're going to start, when we think we're going to end, so approximate dates get up and started. I can say that GV Cement has done the same exact type of work for us in Brownstown for the last 5 to 6 years, and they've done an excellent job. They do a very good job of working with residents. They keep the construction site clean, and they do good work. So we're recommending the work done.
When do you think the good work will actually be done?
I'm not sure we haven't talked with the contractor yet. I think that it's probably going to be.
You know it's got to be done this year.
Oh yeah, it'll be a by 6 to 8 week project, I imagine, something like that.
This deal was put together 3 times now.
Yeah. Yeah, third time's the charm, right?
Oh, yeah, and it wasn't our fault. The county just didn't end the problem. They decided they didn't want to go forward with it. Took our money. Got it back.
Project is well overdue.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any questions on this? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Thank you very much. Welcome back, Mr. Director, Trustee Martin. All right, next item is I think, or number 6. Yeah. Discussion on and to consider approval of special land use. Oh, the to-go booth at Applebee's. Can I get a motion on this?
Supervisor, I'll make that motion to consider
Read it.
approval of a special land use request by APBB LLC for a 11x14 to-go booth for online and pickup orders for the Applebee's restaurant at 10526 Belleville Road. Is there a second?
There you go.
Sorry. I caught up in the moment.
I don't mind. All right, take it away, Director Powers.
Thank you, Board. Tonight I have, I think attending remotely, Mr. Martin and Mr. Gergich from Applebee's. So if you have any questions for them specifically, I'll go over and see if they're able to answer them. But this is a pretty simple project. What it is a proposed 11x14 booth that serves as a place where you drive up and pick up essentially your online orders for Applebee's. And the reason that you're reviewing it tonight is because it's really, in terms of the land use, it's most similar to what we would consider a drive-up or drive-through establishment. And every drive-up or drive-through establishment in the township requires a special land use approval. There's good reason for that, those tend to be high traffic generating uses that involve a different circulation pattern around a certain business and involves changes to the layout of the parking lot. So there's a pretty significant impact on sites and their neighboring sites. In this case, it's a very simple type of what we consider a drive-up or drive-through use. And again, it is really just for those online orders. It's not a place where you're having a lot of cars waiting and moving through quickly. It's really going to be 2 to 5 cars at any given time waiting to pick up their online orders. So there are some architectural renderings, some site plan drawings in your packet. But as you'll see in the packet, the Planning Commission recommended approval to the board at their meeting on March 9th. So if the board wants to take their recommendation and move with that and vote yes, then the next step will simply be a pre-construction and a building permit for this project, which involves some minor parking lot and striping alterations, minor adjustments to the architecture of the building, and of course the addition of the booth. So I'm happy to answer any other questions about it.
I have one. Will this be permanent?
Yes.
I have a comment. Applebee's is one of my favorites, but I think that it's, a good, we want to keep things flowing, and online and pickup orders are important for their business and for the township. So it's a good thing.
I like Applebee's.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it's one of only 2 restaurants in Van Buren that still have a menu. We've got to do something about that. All right, any other questions? Hearing none, then we have a motion by Trustee Miller and supported by Trustee Frazier. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Number 7, the discussion on to consider approval of resolution for other employee benefits. Can I get a motion?
Through the chair,
District Boynton.
I move that we grant approval for resolution 2022-05, other employee benefits.
Support.
Okay, Director Sumter. See you too much.
Board, I will say this is probably one of the few times I would say I am super excited to be here. This is something I have been trying, and Sherry will attest to this, bugging them to death to get these employee benefits for everyone. So I'm trying to curb my enthusiasm right now.
Let it out.
So first, I would like to thank the board personally for going through this with me numerous times until we got it out. I would like to say to all the employees, just know I asked for more. But we will settle for these benefits, and they are very good benefits. So with that, I am asking for the discussion and approval for resolution 2022-05, other employee benefits to be added to the policies and procedures name.
We have a motion and we have support, so.
Any comments? Any questions?
Keeping our employees happy is what we should do.
Yes, we're working on summer Fridays.
Okay.
It is, MTA has changed its stance about what is allowable and what is not allowable based upon legal theory. And it turns out that a lot of the communities now are doing exactly what we're doing. And it was, and they are recommending that if you want to have coffee or
Donuts.
serve donuts,
As long as it's a policy, we have a policy we're covering.
yes, yeah.
It's when you don't, that it's questionable.
Exactly.
Mhm. So, I mean, and, so these minor things are things that we're considering. It's not something big. And that's it.
All questions?
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay, I got a motion by Boynton, supported by Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. I know, me too.
I'm so excited about that.
Mhm. Are you really? Yes, you are.
I am. I'll let you want to say.
No, would
Do you need
you?
a motion?
I need a
So
motion.
I'll make that motion to consider approval of the personal service agreement for Donnie Hubbard. The board.
Okay. I've got a motion and I've got support, Director Sumter.
All
That's
right. I would like to introduce the personal service agreement for Donnie Hubbard. She has been here with the township since July of 2019. She originally came in as a temporary person and also got hired in as a full-time accountant. She has also taken over the roles of interim election specialist. And now we are officially giving her the title as we have had a retirement and the ranks are moving up.
What is the title?
The title is election specialist. Instead of interim, she will now officially be the election specialist upon approval of her personal services agreement.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And with that, I will take any questions the board may have.
Trustee Martin.
I just have one comment, and that Ms. Hubbard has done an exceptional job in the clerk's office. I think this is good for the township, and I think she's doing a good job.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Okay, hearing no other questions. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Number 9. Discussion on to consider approval of resolution 2206, basically the Haggerty Road plan. Can I get a motion?
Through the chair, I'd like to, us to consider the approval of resolution 2022-06 for Van Buren Township to commit to cover any overage costs of the Wayne County Haggerty Road project from E-course to Van Buren, up to 8% of the total project cost.
Support.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting that. Director Powers.
Thank you, board. Just to give a little bit of a summary, this is a project that you heard about at the last board meeting, and what we're going to go over tonight is just some minor changes to the project that we also went over in work study. Just again, a recap on what we're talking about here is the much needed reconstruction of Haggerty Road from most of the section from E-course Road to Van Buren Road. What the project would entail is funding that involves primarily Wayne County and a developer, Ashley Capital. And if you approve the motion tonight, would also involve potentially our contribution to the small overage in that project. But what it is about 3,154 feet in the middle section of that road, so the majority of that section of the road, that would be reconstructed from 2 lanes to 3 lanes with a center turn lane. A new traffic signal at the halfway point, and then closer to the north and south ends of the project, you'd be looking at respectively 627 feet and 540 feet of widening that 2-lane section out to 5 lanes and actually tapering the new 3-lane section out to the 5 lanes closer to the intersection. So basically turning a underperforming, almost hazardous 2-lane road right now to a 3-lane road that would really serve the needs of the township in terms of it being a gateway into the township and also serving the needs of the various businesses and residents in the area. So one of the things that you're considering tonight is the altered proposal, which would take the match down from the township. What you previously heard was up to 10% of the cost of the project if it comes in over estimate. So the estimate is 5.7 million. You previously talked about 10%, up to 10% contribution, so roughly 570,000. What we're now talking about is up to 8%, not to exceed 8%, if the project comes in over that 5.7 million. So that means the township would commit funds not to exceed $458,294. And just another thing that's in your packet tonight that was the product of some additional research is some information from nearby townships. One being Canton Township here in Wayne County, where there's a 5-year roads plan that's included in your packet that refers to a variety of partnership projects between Canton Township and MDOT and other entities, where it shows basically the breakdown ever since 1985 for non-millage projects. Canton Township did contribute substantially to projects over the years, including in the last 10 years, about 27%. Then there's also some examples from Oakland County, rather, where in Lyon Township, you have the Curry Road project, which is also about a $5.5 million project. And in that case, Oakland County is contributing, between Oakland County and the federal government, there's a 90% contribution, and Lyon Township is contributing 10%. And then in the case of West Bloomfield Township, Pontiac Trail resurfacing, that's another example where there's a 10% match from the township. $2.5 million project, so a smaller project, but again, a 10% match from the municipality. So just trying to highlight that there are cases, even though it is unusual in Van Buren Township for good reason, to have those kinds of matches. In this case, it's a very important project, and you can see that there are some examples where other communities have used a township match for what otherwise would be a county or federal project.
Does anybody want to speak on this? I know I can say why I like it, but I like it because of the fact that I believe we have 2 entryways in from the north, and that now is when they're going to look at reconstructing Haggerty Road. If we don't widen it now, then they won't widen it until they have to reconstruct it again in 20 to 30 years. And it's not even on the program to be reconstructed until 2028. So that is the sole reason why I believe we need to do it. I think we have to start planning Van Buren Township for the future. And people are coming here. Canton's filling up. Thank you.
Through the chair.
Trustee Martin.
First of all, let me preface my statements by saying that Haggerty Road is an atrocity. It is one of the worst roads that I've seen in a long time. And yes, it does need to be paved, but I don't believe that we should use township funds to pay for that road construction. Wayne County Roads Divisions is responsible for the maintenance of approximately 1,440 county primary and local roadways, 462 miles of state trunk lines and freeways. It is the mission of the Roads Division to protect and extend the useful life of the roads under the division's jurisdiction. You know, residents have come to the township complaining about roads in the past, one road or another. And this board has always told those residents that those roads are under the county purview. It's their responsibility to maintain, repave them, or whatever it is they need to do. And that's what we have told residents in the last 5 years I've been on this board. They have talked about this cost being using tipping fees to cover the cost of this project. Tipping fees is not a separate fund of money or a pot of money that we have to do anything. These tipping fees that we receive from waste management comprises approximately 25% of our revenue that we use to operate the township. We just talked earlier about a community center project that's going to cost $16 million. You know, we're going to have to bond that out. We're going to have to pay for that too. Also, you know, you compare that Canton has done this and that with their roads, whatever. That's well and good. That has nothing to do with Van Buren Township. Canton can do whatever they want to do with their money. That's fine. I'm not the steward of their money. I'm the steward of Van Buren Township's money. And then we just had another presentation about an increase in our engineering fees of 5%. So every day is costing us more money to do business. And I just think this is an expense that we shouldn't be burdened with, and that's my opinion.
Through the chair.
Trustee Frazier?
Well, I just am in favor of it because it's a necessity, and Haggerty Road is a crucial thoroughfare. So I think we have to get it done and get it done as soon as possible.
If it wasn't for the expansion of the road, I wouldn't consider it, but to me, it's planning for the future. Any other questions? Hearing none, I have a motion by Trustee Frazier, supported by Trustee Miller. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No. I have to go to a roll call. Treasurer, could you call the roll?
Trustee Boyden?
Yes.
Trustee Miller? Trustee Martin?
No.
Trustee Frazier? Yes. Dr. Wright is excused. Treasurer Bud is a yes. Supervisor McNamara?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next item, we have no reports today. After that, we go to public comment for non-agenda items. At this point in time, anybody can speak on something that we didn't already deal with today. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to speak? Hearing none, is there any board comments?
Make a motion to adjourn.
We have support.